Everybody in the world is shooting training films, LMS systems, how to cook, how to wash the pots and pans after you cook, how to change a tire, how to program Excel. And we hear over and over again that it's fast and efficient and you can do it with an iPhone. When you're trying to teach somebody, train somebody, explain to somebody, the presentation, how it looks, how it comes across is almost just as important as the content. It doesn't matter, in fact, the research supports this, how smart you really are and how expert you really are. If you don't look smart and you don't look expert or you don't look excellent, people are going to take you for how you look. We come to Socially You, and it looks like it's done by the creme de la creme of the professionals. The color, the setting, the quality of the picture. It looks like we shot it in Hollywood with better equipment than they have in Hollywood, with better team than they have in Hollywood. I also am not aware of anybody that's mastered the technology for practical, applicable business reasons on the part of their clients the way this group has. If it doesn't do that, I don't see it hooked up and blinking anywhere in the studio. That's pretty impressive to me as a business guy. As a client, we walked in today and they turned on the lights and said action. But I'm more expressed about the set that I'm sitting on right now, which is beautiful, and the one that I had yesterday. But when I turn around, it's just a big green wall. And that's kind of fun to hear about why it's not a green wall on the screen, but most of the excitement is looking at the screen and seeing the ultimate and finished result. The level of collaboration this team has demonstrated over and over again on their ability to do something with excellence in a very efficient manner. One thing that we're real clear about is this is really a good team. There's no wasted motion. They're collaborative. No one's yelling and screaming and throwing things. Things are edifying. Things are skilled. Socially You has just kind of broken the code on this.
Okay, so we just wrapped up filming actually one of my favorite clients ever. Because of his humor, and he is such an awesome person. We had a guy named Pat McMillan. You can see him playing on my screen right here. And we filmed one pickup from a project that they came and did here. Was that
2021?
2021, so 2 years ago. And then he also filmed some videos for a project that we've been working on with another group that he's just one of the talents for that. So I will toss this over to Andre, and we can start talking about it.
Yeah. Hey. Hello.
Hey.
So this was fun because Pat came pre-green screen studio, so we had built a physical set for him. A lot has changed since then.
That was the most elaborate set we had ever built.
They wanted a boardroom, and so we actually had a custom table made.
Oh, man.
Art was involved, custom art pieces. There's a lot of work.
Fake windows.
Oh, yeah. Well, a wall. We didn't have a wall, didn't we?
Yeah. Tyler may be a little quiet. I can't tell.
So the mic here.
Get close to that mic. So this was fun because he came back, and the first question was, could we just recreate the old set? And the answer was like, that ship has sailed. Like, it's so gone. And when we went back and looked at it, I don't think we have an easy way to show that, but it's still fine. Like, it still looks nice, but it's like we're in a totally different category of filming now. So, so we were able to use this trusty set that we've used a bunch. I don't think we have that one running right now, but it was a brick wall that we've used on a lot of stuff. A lot of people love that brick wall with the light shining down through it. It's a set from Evermotion, and that was really great. So we did that set for that pickup, and there was a little concern because we were pretty late in the day getting that one done, and we knew we had to do, I think it was 17 total videos the next day.
Yes.
So we did a set change, and in the set change, I just wasn't feeling it. And so we had a little time. So Morgan, Emma, Cammie, and I all sat down. God bless you, Morgan, for being so patient. And we worked on building out a new Unreal set. So we took an existing set that we had, a room, and we built this out. And
realize this isn't full screen. No full screen.
Wish you could show the before and after, though, because
I know of how we opened it up. It didn't look anything like this. And so we just slowly kind of dialed it in to this look. And so this is the wide shot that you see here. Here's a moving shot. So this is using the Gazebo. This is so we've got some camera movement. So very thankful for that. And then we had kind of a wide shot of showing the chair and the setup. We did one super cool thing that's totally new that we want to talk to you about, and that's this shot. So, in fact, you can even take me off of this if you want, Morgan, just showing just the shot. But what's cool about this shot is...
Well, can I interrupt? Let's say
yes.
something real quick.
Yes.
While you guys were building this set it would seem like the ground up, from a bare room to this, I mean, it was ugly. It was blank white walls. They were watching it in the other room while they were having lunch, or while they were making their notes for the programs. So they were watching you guys build this set live, constructing it from all the little elements and everything. And that's the first time I've ever known us to ever do that.
Right in front of them.
They got to watch the whole thing being constructed.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious because, but it was just like, look, we can show it to them, they can see it, and I think it made it more magical because they got to watch it all happen.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know how easy this is to do. I don't know who's running the computer for this, but if we could show the wider full shot. Okay, there's the side wide shot. But if we could just show that shot. So this is our main shot. So what we've been doing in the past is we'll take this kind of main shot that we have of the person, and then we'll turn around and just do a punch. So we're just using an ME on the constellation. We're just zooming in on that ME and then just mapping that ME, like ME2, to one of the buttons, and we just call it punch or whatever, and then we've just been cutting between that. And so that's what we've been doing. Morgan had the genius idea. So Morgan, talk about your idea, and then we can kind of show how that happened in this.
Yeah, so the main thing here, as you can see, if we just digitally zoomed in on this shot, that would just zoom the background in, right? So what we're doing is I'm taking a ME on the constellation and bringing that back in. And on that ME is just the camera green, so camera 1 or whatever camera number we're using.
Back into Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. So we have two more additional Ultimates, 7 and 8, that are routable through the constellation. And so with that, we're able to re-key and put in a different background. And then Andre was able to take Photoshop and bring in that background and do different things to manipulate it to make it different.
Yeah, because when we really zoom, like if you were really using a camera on that set and we actually zoomed in, then the background gets a little bigger, right? So everything gets a little bigger. The orientation of it's different. The bokeh or bokeh of it is going to be a little different. And so now can we cut over to that or scroll over to the tighter punch that we have? So if you kind of look at the statue behind him, okay. This isn't it. So this may be the very first video that we did.
Find another one.
But that's good. That's good. So you can kind of see that's the punch. So that's just the normal punch. After this video, though, the rest of the videos, I think, are going to have something different for us to see. Let's look. Let's find out together on this episode of the debrief.
It might be for a thing we talk about later that it might be only after Program 5B.
Well, the first video,
It's probably
the very first
after
video.
Program 5B because this is
Okay,
using the
I can
wrong
find a raw.
punch
I can go
on
to the raw
these right
files
now.
here.
That's good to know. So we'll talk about why that is.
You will
and how we're gonna
have that
fix
explained
later. But yeah, go to a later episode and you'll see that change of what this is good. So the punch. Is
Actually,
what we're
I was just
looking
going to
for.
go straight to it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Hi, welcome to the debrief.
Did we ever
where
remap the
everything
punch?
Really thought through. It's at this moment live as we're recording this that we realize we didn't record this at all. And so what we're going to look for now is the program.
Yep.
That's funny. So we had a little snafu. There
we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about,
Nice.
we just all realized at this exact moment that we have some additional work to do. Okay, cool. So you can see now, though, that little statue in the background is probably the best thing to see it. But now that's much more blurry and it's in focus. So it's still a punch. So we're losing some fidelity on zooming into him, of course. But the reality is this will probably be only a 1080 project when it's done anyway. And go ahead and play that for a second. We can just kind of see. But see, his hair is still cut out really well. And see, now we can see that perspective difference between those two shots. So that's the first time we've been able to do that. And now we're all realizing we've got to go back and do some edits to fix this for everything else. Hey, speaking of that, so in order to get that shot, I decided to do something fun the night before, and I took a screenshot. And the way I took the screenshot is I remapped our main hyperdeck that records program. And I was like, I'll just do that real quick and grab this still. I'll map it to my Ultimat and be able to grab that still, and then that'll be great. And that was great. And I was able to get that really quickly, Photoshop that still. Everything was awesome. The one super duper bad thing is that Andre did not turn around and remap program to Hyperdeck 1. So that's kicked off a realization that thankfully Jay realized before the end of the day, but about halfway through, we'd recorded some amount of episodes.
Yeah, we were almost directly halfway through. So what happened was I was sitting here and I'm like reading the script and I'm directing, so I'm just helping him make sure that if he's doing any pickups, he's coming back at the right spot, his hands are in the right place, yada yada. And I look up at the Hyperdeck 1 and it's on a side shot. And I'm like, oh, funny, I thought Tyler just cut. And then as I was thinking that, he cut back to another shot, and I realized that ME1, which is our program, was not on Hyperdeck 1. So this
You're like, oh, no.
So this entire time, Tyler's been cutting and doing a great job, and him and I have been coordinating on getting the right shot for the right timing. And none of that actually mattered at all because we didn't record his ME, which he was cutting through. So we just had a bunch of isolated shots that then we had to go back and multicam clip and cut them all and make them work, which we've already done.
And normally, when we power cycle the constellation, it defaults Hyperdeck 1 to be back to program. Because we left everything running overnight, that meant that it did not reset. And so it was left on whatever the last setting was.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good time.
Yay.
That's my
awesome.
bad. So that was my fault.
And
I did that.
Sometimes when you do things all day beforehand, you want to leave everything on. Typically, like we let the machines we let them go to sleep at night and we turn everything off and we leave. But if we set everything up the day before and then we're going to record the morning after, we typically leave everything on because we avoid having to reset a bunch of things, a bunch of camera settings, et cetera, et cetera. So we left it on, and that's why I really, I know, Andre, you felt bad. You were like, oh man, I should have, gone back and reset it. But at the same time, like I also learned a lesson that is like, I thought I'd checked Hyperdecks, but apparently I didn't. So now that was just a lesson for me to learn as well that, okay, each time we're about to start, I need to double check to make sure that the Hyperdecks are set to the right thing. I looked at it, I glanced at it, I have it on a Multiview 16 in front of me, or whatever this is. And I thought by looking at all of the individual blocks that I saw all the isolated shots. So I said, yep, we're ready to go. Let's go. But in reality, we were not. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lesson that I was teaching you.
Yeah.
Well, in the end, it became a good chance to try kind of a new workflow.
That's true.
In that, so something that we've always been trying to think through is, okay, well, what is the best way for editing these videos in post? So we talked a little bit about Marker Toolbox in a previous video. That comes back into play here. But obviously now we had to cut in real time. So the lovely DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor, Vanna Whiting it here, has come back into play. And what's great about it is that I was able to make a multicam clip, import in markers from Marker Toolbox as an EDL into the timeline. It was a weird process, but we got there. And then go through, kind of cut out all the parts we needed to cut out, and then go through and cut when it made sense kind of rhythmically to cut through the project. And so overall, that workflow felt like it worked pretty well. For doing that. So it's like if you are in a situation where you're thinking, well, I love this idea of multi-camera editing, but I don't have a person who can be switching, recording all your cameras on a hyperdeck, building a multicam clip. The speed editor really gives you a great way to acts kind of like a post-production ATEM almost. So that was pretty cool. I'm not sure it's much faster than just doing the multicam clip in Final Cut, but we had the tool, so like we wanted to try it out. I liked a lot of how it worked. There's some stuff I'm still trying to learn with it, but it was pretty good overall.
I'll sing your praises real fast, Isaac, because one thing we used to do, we have always recorded to multiple hyperdecks, but what we didn't do was we didn't realize that you could go into the hyperdecks and have them label each one individually. So I would have to go into Final Cut, go through each information tablet on each clip and label them A through G or whatever we're doing. And it was like not long after Isaac started, you realize, oh, let's just go ahead and label all of these correctly so that you can just bring it straight in and you don't have to relabel anything. So making a multicam clip happens a lot faster than it used to. So since you were talking about that, I figured I would give you your flowers there.
Yeah. The other thing I want to figure out when we're talking about those hyperdecks is with BitFocus and stuff, we can get variable names out of stuff, and it should be able to read what input's going into there, either by figuring out what's coming out of the ATEM or something like that. And so we want to look into how can we show when you're hitting record, can we have like a little label on the button that says the name of what you're recording so you can kind of glance down and go, that's not right, but we'll look into it.
Yep.
The unending world of BitFocus.
Yeah.
There's so much. It can do everything.
Basically, whenever we have an idea, Isaac goes, Morgan and I need to have a conversation about how you can make that 1,000 times easier and make it only one button instead of a process, which is a great mindset to have. I mean, I'm not doing it, so
Sometimes the buttons even work.
Yeah, it's pretty cool
Most
when that
of the time.
happens.
oh, it's hilarious.
Well, Cammie, you were running Prompter, and so talk to us a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
Yes. So every time I run Prompter, I don't mind running it. It's just it becomes my little cold corner, and I'm stuck there all day, and I'm staring at a screen, and it's never ending. No, I mean it has its moments, but especially for the people who have super dense scripts, especially when it's not fully edited, is probably where it becomes the most draining.
Yeah.
It becomes exhausting and frustrating, but I'm like, yes, I can do that for you. I totally can. And it was good.
Well, you got really good at it, and from my perspective, I talked to Jennifer, Pat's Pat's daughter. She was here with Pat. She is helping him edit and the scripts and do a few things. But her and I talked about Cammie because Cammie, like at first when Cammie first learned how to do teleprompter, people would be like, "Hey, can we change this word?" And it was like, "Okay, yeah, let me click over here and let me take 20 seconds to then find the word and then make." And now it's like. Pat will be like, "Can we change the word?" Okay, you've done it.
The word's changing as it's saying
like
the word.
you look at it and it's like, "Bing,
So
it's done,"
fast.
because you're doing it really fast.
I think Teleprompter, before I even started, like before I even worked here, whenever I would just come and hang out and actually like kind of just do a little bit of the work because I was having so much fun here. Teleprompter was the first thing I ever did. So that's something that I started in this job. Was like, that's what I was doing. That was my gym. And now it's like, oh yeah. And he was like, what's another word for decision? And I'm like, choose. And I already did it. Or if he would mess up on a word, then I would put it in all caps because he would get frustrated and he was like, I can't read it. It's like so frustrating because it looks similar to another word and he'd say a different word. And so I put it in all caps and he'd laugh, but it helped. It worked. So I think
Another cool thing is that they're open to input. Like if you said, like choose, like that particular incident, it was so funny because almost as he was saying the word choose, I think you had already started typing it.
Yeah, I did.
And it was like, bling, there it is. But they're very open to that kind of suggestion. So that was kind of cool too. They were easy to work with in that.
Yeah, I think another thing though is that when you have scripts, when you write them, you just have it like a full just keep going until you break a paragraph. That's a new topic. But when we put it into Teleprompter, I usually go through and I break it into smaller bite-sized pieces so that visually when you're looking at it, it's not like this droning on just list of words that you have to read through. And then it's like you see the breaks and it's like a mental thing for them that it's like, yeah, I got through that. And it's like it almost mentally encourages them to just keep pushing through because it's not this daunting list of words.
Cam, you talk about how like when people come in here and they want to talk on a teleprompter, there's the sirens that come in and make us cut all the time. Talk about how a lot of people, sometimes you can sit one speed and it'll go through and they'll read it all the way down. And you may slow down or speed up every now and then. but not as much. But talk about how much you did it for Pat.
Yeah, so usually what I tell clients when they come in before, if they've never used a teleprompter, or even if they have, I tell them, I'm like, do not try to keep up with me, because my job is to follow your rhythm and your pace of how you speak. So if you're talking really, really fast and I'm speeding up the teleprompter, then I'm going to follow you. But then if you stop, then I'm going to stop. I'm going to wait for you to keep on talking. But something that he would do, the way that he would talk, is that he would, like, either he did two things. Either he would speed up at the beginning, so he'd talk really, really fast like this, and then he'd end the paragraph like this. And so I had to keep speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. So I had to stay right there the entire time. And it's this fun little thing. It's this fun little
there
thing.
it is.
Oh, it's so fun.
Fun little thing. So
Tyler
I
just
have
speak
Especially when it
Show
disconnects.
the controller.
Yeah.
Show the controller.
So I have
Little
to
proper people.
turn this fun little dial right here, which that's on. So I have to speed up. I have to slow down and
Constantly throughout
constantly,
the whole script.
because some people can just stay at one speed, and I have to kind of just turn one a little notch or whatever. But he was like 3 or 4.
Well, the more
3 or 4.
dramatic they are, the more expressive they are, the more they speed up really fast and then they slow down, like you were just saying.
Yeah.
And
Well-
it's so intense, too, because, Cammie, you were talking about how you cannot do anything except look at that prompter and listen to their words. And, like, if somebody, like, there was a point, I think, when somebody was trying to talk to you about something and you were just like, I can't.
Yeah, I think Morgan, didn't you see her brain breaking and you like turned her comp?
Yeah, I ended up pulling comms out of
I think
your-
it's really funny because whenever somebody's like, "Oh, teleprompter, it's such an easy job," it's like I'm right there, like I'm reading, and sometimes if you pause the script, the words just keep moving even though it's paused, and your eyes are just like, "Where is it going?" But what was I saying?
Well, you can't stop.
Oh yeah.
Absolute
so
focus
If people,
all day long.
when we have our comms, and I usually have sometimes I'll have program really loud, and then our comm system just like barely on. So if I hear my name, I'll be like, "What are they saying?" Like I can focus, but what are they saying? But in that moment, I was so focused that I heard comms and I heard teleprompter, and I'm like, "Nope,
I can't listen to you.
nope."
You can't-
I'm like,
I
I'm
can't
shaking
talk
my
to
head.
you.
I'm shaking my head. Like,
Yep.
don't talk to me.
You're like,
Don't
"Nope,
talk
I'm
to me.
Chief Scrolling Officer.
Chief
Well,
scrolling officer. That's
your
me.
eyes can't even cut away from the screen because it's like as soon as you think, okay, I can cut away for a second, you'll look back and you're like, I don't even know where I am and where is the prompter in relation to what.
That is the scariest
is-
thing
oh.
that could ever happen. Is that if you lose your place,
Yeah,
you
like-
screw everybody up. Like if you read one word and then you're like, but they're all the way down here. No, they're still up here, and you think that they're down there because they sometimes can repeat something that they say,
Or they go off script,
Yeah.
or they're improvising for a little while.
and then it's like we had somebody come in that had like kind of scripty things, but also it was like their notes. And so they would talk about a topic, and sometimes they'd read the exact words, but then they kind of ad lib a little bit. And then they continue again on the script, and then it's like all the way at the bottom of the screen. You're like, oh crap, they're all the way down there, because like you'd think they're gonna pick right back up where they were, but they.
Or you sit there and you're like, they're ad libbing, and you look at it and you're like, I have no idea now where they are, and I've got to wait until I hear a keyword and I see it.
So you're constantly scanning and constantly looking at the script because
Yeah.
you don't know
intense.
where they're gonna.
Well, hey, too, Andre mentioned that like this is a whole new thing, right? So we have a green screen and it's a whole new set, yada yada. But not only that, but the last time that Pat and them were here, we were running as a team, but we were running as a much smaller team.
Yeah.
So we had, I believe, I can't remember who was running teleprompter, but it was difficult because it was really hard for us to take notes, do a lot of pickups, cut to the right thing, and then also have teleprompter running. But this time I noticed a really good synergy between me, Tyler, and Cammie because Cammie and I were sort of on the same page. Like I was directing and helping him like with his cadence and where to pick up and things to make everything work so that we could not have a lot of posts to do. Ironically, that changed because of what you learned a minute ago. But there was a lot of good synergy between us three because Tyler was cutting, Cammie was running the teleprompter, I was able to direct, and I think that Pat not only did he come in and sort of like have a little bit shorter of content to do than he did last time, but I think he felt the confidence that we felt as a team because he just was a lot happier with everything going on because we were able, instead of back when we first did it, he was like, are you sure we have a good pickup there? And I'm like, I think so. And now I'm like, yep, actually, I pulled you back because
trust
I
level.
felt like
Right.
where you were in the script was a lot more important than anything you said. So we were giving him definitive answers, and we were doing things with a big purpose. And it's showing in post. Like the product's coming out really good. So I thought that was really awesome to notice how we were working really good together as a team.
Or also, what you would do is if you notice that we're all following right there with him because of the content, and we're trying to live cut and edit and all that while we're doing it. But if you notice that he would flub, or how he said bobble, on a very important part, you'd stop him and be like, that's
Yeah.
not going to make good content. We're
Yeah.
going to pull it back to make sure we get those key points that you want hit so well, make sure that it's perfect.
Yeah, because like here we sort of have a thing we go by. Like if you have a small stumble through a word, we typically don't go back.
Yeah.
It just comes off more conversational, more real, and that takes the pressure off of you of having the perfect take and whatnot. But yeah, every time he would have one in an important, a very important part, I would just go ahead and stop him. And it was funny because I would always say, "Hey Pat, like I'm so sorry," and he would always be like, "I don't know why you're apologizing."
He would be.
I'm like,
apologizing.
dude, well, I just feel bad. Yeah, he would be. But I was like, I just feel bad because I'm like, you're on a roll, and I'm like stopping you. But I think I broke through that plane
And
this time.
doing the live switch, live cutting or I was technical director, but we're cutting it live like it's a TV show, and so I'm always listening for when is he kind of changing topics, or like if he goes to give an example of, and for example, when we were in Malaysia, then I would cut to one of the side angles, and then be able to cut back. But here's the important point, blammo, and then you're right back on the main.
Only we had those cuts.
Yeah, I know.
All that work on.
What's funny, though-
Sound amazing.
I'm like Cammy's on doing the prompter. I'm reading the prompter as he's talking, and I'm switching the shots kind of based on what he's saying. So again, it's just so intense all day long. And because if you look away for a minute and then you realize, oh wait, I'm on the wrong weird shot that doesn't match what he's trying to say, it feels like it can mess things up.
That also is running well with like the synergy I was speaking about a minute
Right.
ago, because technically we do the multicam clip and we add program in there so that if I have to in post, if I have to like change because of a bobble and I need to be able to change an angle and make it feel smooth. Well, now Tyler, you understand, like it took us some practice, but now Tyler understands that like, okay, hey, we're restarting. I'm going to go ahead and cut to an angle that I haven't cut to recently. And I've noticed that like when I'm making the edits, it's great that we have the multicam clip there and I'm going to continue, but I actually don't have to do it as much anymore because you're
I'm always on a different many times when he had stumbled or whatever, had already cut to a different shot, and I'll say to you, okay, that's great, I'm on a different shot.
Right.
I was already on the different shot.
which was every single time this time,
That's
which is
awesome.
great because
That's
then the
really
pickup, I'm like, oh, I got to, oh no, I don't, oh, it works. And
Speaking
I'm on to
of-
the next one.
Pat being happy with us, Emma, he said I should give you a raise.
He did say that.
What was that all about?
Yeah.
I don't know why he would say that, but I agree with him.
So give now to help Emma's.
I think it was the Thai food that put it over the top.
Yeah, I
you
think
go.
it was the Thai food, the carrots and hummus that really did him in.
Well, that was funny too because you were like walking out of the room and then he said that and you were like,
I'm
You
like,
have my
"Un-
undivided
I'm coming-
attention.
I'm
like
coming back.
Andre Dantzler. I hope he heard that.
Well, and he said in his testimonial at the end that the thing that they really enjoyed, and he said, I've been doing this a lot, the thing that you really enjoyed was the care for them. And we just got this book, Emma, we ordered this
I think
book.
it's up there, Jay, on the.
Unreasonable
It is.
Hospitality, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's so funny because, I mean, we're going to read it, but it's already the way we think about
Nice.
caring for
Nice.
people is kind of the thing that sets it apart is the hospitality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the video content, of course, you're going to get great video.
Uh-huh.
That's the minimum deliverable product.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and it's kind of nice to look back on because Pat and Jennifer actually were the first clients I ever encountered
that's true.
with. And
Oh, that's
I,
cool.
looking
Yeah.
back 2 years ago compared to now and how much we've grown and, our system and just how our hospitality has grown and how it's become kind of the most important thing a part of us. So it's been interesting having them back and kind of seeing the growth of like 2 years ago versus now because I was just a little baby and didn't know what I was doing, and now I think it's like the best part of my job.
That's cool.
I think something that I remember him saying specifically is that when he was sitting in there and he stopped and there was something either he needed to look in his binder of scripts or if he needed water or anything, he would say, I think I need blank. And then by the second he thought of asking for it, we already brought it to him.
Yeah.
And then he made a comment of like, I just say something and it just speaks into existence and it's already happened.
It's
It was-
truly magic.
It's
yeah.
because Emma and Chris
literal
are
magic.
always listening. They're always listening for somebody to say, "Man, if I just had some cherries," and like, "Oh, well, here they are." What did that?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say shout out to not only Emma but also Chris because she picks up like if Emma is out running and grabbing something, Chris is like, boom, okay, now it's my turn to step in and help out
Yeah.
with Emma's role. And
Chris is my little duo girl, so we're just back there.
That's awesome.
Just making sure everything's happening.
Chris is our makeup artist, and so yeah, it's really cool to see how, because Emma will have to leave to get lunch or whatever, and then Chris steps into that role, and it's really, y'all have done a great job. It's
we
really
love
cool.
Chris.
She doesn't just sit back and do the hair and makeup. She's like always
Yeah,
Right.
she's on it.
part of the
Yeah.
team.
she really is, dude. And
He's also a therapist for.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she's a
Various
therapist
guests.
for everybody.
oh, man. She'll come in here and stand and look at me and she'll be like, okay, I need to go in there like at the next break. And like I feel like that happens often because she's in the other room, not sitting there. She's done with everything, but she's like analyzing the screen and she's like, oh my gosh, there's a hair and it's pissing me off. I have to go in and I have to cut it. Or like she's trimmed people's nose hairs before through in the middle of a set, like because they look bad. So her attention to detail is incredible. She's awesome.
Here's just a little shot. I see it over on ME2 there, Morgan, that you can show of. So here's kind of the layout of the room. So this was our main camera that's acting as both that wide establishing shot, I guess, medium shot, and then also the tight. We're running that all through that. So he's always making eye contact for both of those shots. And then this was where we positioned that wide shot. So this is at, I think, around 24 millimeters. And then this was the gazebo moving from side to side, doing that traveling shot. And so that's a little bit of what that setup looked like. And then let me see if I can push this button real quick, and I'll show you the. Maybe not yet, but in a second I'll airplay just the. I don't think I have the previous setup. I thought I had that clicker ready to go, but I see I don't. The other thing I was thinking we could show if I pull through here. One of these videos was showing the lighting. And so, yeah, here you go. So you can see in this shot, here's kind of our setup. So another thing we did differently is we've got some really classy, some people have been asking, what are these lights, these amazing lights? These are lights that Tyler got at like Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. And they're like kitchen lights. And so we just did those because we were like, we just need a general wash.
Man, and we were under a really time pressure.
Yep.
It was like, well, I'm going to go to Home Depot
Yep.
and I'm going to buy one of every light, and test it out.
Yep.
And then I went back and bought like, I don't know how many,
Yeah.
20 of the one light.
Because it was like we just need a general wash, but you guys did something different. Well, first of all, so we've got that. We've got a big IntelliTech just doing a big wash. We've got some Yodoblo, which are kind of like some off-brand sky panel lights.
You can say it. They're crappy sky panels.
They're crappy sky panel lights, fake sky panels. And there's the gazebo. And then I'm moving this jacket around just being dumb because this is really awesome for me because in the past, this texture would have been terrible, but the raw light OLPFs that we've installed made this work. Look at that smile. I'm so happy to have spent those
That
thousands of
investment paid
dollars.
off
That has
just
paid
for
off
that smile right
instantly.
there.
Yeah, that's the smile of a well paid for item. And so let's see, there's Dylan right there. And then here's our, what are we calling this? The Giga instead of the Mega IntelliTech.
boost.
And then here's some more. We've got a little hive just getting a little zone where we were trying to get the
One
light.
little spot.
One little spot. So we got a little Lico on that just to get that one spot. And then this is the new thing that's different is you guys took off the diffusion that was on the front of these and just went raw, crappy LED.
That was Jay's idea. He was like, wait a minute, why are we using and
we could
stepping
make
it
this
down?
brighter. Yeah.
We keep adding lights, and sometimes it's difficult to get everything lit properly. So when I was thinking about taking how we took the diffusion off of the big mega cloths because we wanted them to put more light, and then I was thinking about how we're adding and adding, and I looked up and I was like, oh yeah, that's dumb. Why are we handicapping those? So I took them off.
That's the lighthouses, whatever they're called, for the rovers.
Base stations.
Base stations. Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
That's Pat, our client, when he's coming in.
He's
So
a
that's
legend.
him kind of like, look at, they're just
Oh, they
kind
had-
of
that's the
seeing
first
this
time
for
they
the
had
first
seen
time.
the big-
They haven't
yeah.
seen the control room we
This
had
is a
before,
common
so small.
occurrence when people see
And they
the
were,
ball.
he was just like, well, I'm glad you guys
I think something that every client says is that it looks like NASA. That is the repetitive comment that people make, is that they say it always looks like NASA.
which is awesome because we literally said, I want this to look like NASA in here. So maybe a cooler design thing, but that same idea. So yeah, you can see a bunch of behind the scenes.
Can we show the chafing dishes? I mean, I know that's silly, but
where did I already
Look
pass
at
it?
bacon.
Help
go
me.
up, go up.
Go up. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going right over to. Oh,
it-
dang it.
Too far.
Surprise.
Wait, there it
here's
is.
one, but that's not the one you want me to see.
Well, there's a beautiful
Tyler
shot
wants
that
us to
Isaac-
see him
no,
eating the
my
bacon.
bacon grabbing skills.
There
There
it
it is, right
is.
there. No, Isaac shot this beautiful shot of these restaurant quality chafing. So we've had this terrible, and I'm going back to hospitality. Sorry again, it's ADD. We've had this terrible problem of how do we keep the food warm and have it to the customers hot and ready, at a moment's notice. Everything here is either concrete or steel, and so it's just constantly sucking the heat out of everything.
Ooh, that soft close. That was nice.
So
Yeah, it has these soft closed lids. Andre went ahead and just purchased these amazing chafing dishes and the hot plate bases that they sit on. So, Emma, you can bring in food, and it doesn't really matter if we get it right at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And it's hot and fresh, and everybody just loves it.
Yeah, lunch used to be my least favorite part of the day because I would have to time everything perfectly to make sure that when we took a break, the lunch would be hot, and if they went longer, then it would be cold and I'd have to heat it up. So now
much
that we've
stress.
invested in these, lunch has been a breeze now, and I love it.
Yep. It's awesome. So I think what you can take from these is sometimes we don't dive super far into Ultimate or Unreal, which, trust me, we're going to be doing some more content. We have days on the calendar for Morgan and Andre to spit out their geniusness so that everybody can sort of learn about that process and more. But I think what you can take away from these is that, but beyond the pieces that you're looking at us using to have a successful studio, there is a million things that are going behind the scenes behind it, from hospitality to anything else that's tech related to talent directing and more. It is an ever-growing, ever-changing amount of items, and you just have to be extremely adaptable and ready at any time to change into any sort of form of a studio that we can be, so that we can make our clients happy and make a good product come out. I don't know, I'm so out of breath saying that. Does anybody have anything else to add to the end of this episode? Any burning topics that anybody wants to bring up?
Like and subscribe.
That is the number one thing that we need to ask for.
every YouTuber ever.
Yep. So if you guys don't mind sharing this with your friends, if they're into production, any kind of production, we love sharing what we're doing and showing people and helping people. And you guys have been calling and commenting. Okay, we have people reaching out to us, and we promise that we are trying to get back to you guys. And I know I've said this before, but we're super busy, but we are starting to see those, and we understand that this is something that we're gonna start doing is talking to people. So just give us a little bit of time, we promise. But continue to share, comment, like, and subscribe. We appreciate that. Morgan, if you'll cut to the wide, and we'll do the proper ending here. Everybody turn around and say peace.
Night, John Boy. Bye.
I don't think you can see me, but
Nope.